Sorry if there's any background noise. There is the air exchanger and the 3D printers running. But I just wanted to give you a little bit of help in regards to getting started with the model train assignment. So take a minute to read through this. What we're going to do is we are going to model and assemble the parts for this miniature train. We're going to start together working through creating this train engine. So there's multiple different parts. Each part will be its own part file, Inventor part file. We'll create an assembly and hopefully we'll animate that. We're just going to get started with creating our individual parts though. So in this video we're going to look at just the train body. It's not going to be a full step-by-step, but it is going to give you somewhere to start. It takes a little bit of practice to look at the different dimensions and what they're talking about. So for example, this 1.375 is looking at from the bottom of our train car, or train body, to the center of this 0.75 radius circle. It's important to know, often when the drawing says radius, it's specifying in a radius because it's not a closed circle. If it's a closed circle, it's going to specify in diameter. For the most part, in Autodesk Inventor, it's going to ask for the diameter, so you have to do a little bit of math. So let's get started with this general train body part. I'm going to start with my overall length and actually my overall height. And I need to scroll down in my drawing and I need to look here to determine my overall height. So I need to add my 2.35 radius because this small circle and this large circle are concentric, meaning they have the same center. So I need to come up 0.375 and then from there to the furthest most part of the top of my train body is 2.35. So I need to add those together. So I'm going to move the drawing out of the way. I'm going to start a new part. So I know that it's going to be 5.5 long, and I'm just adding those numbers together, 2.35 and 0.375. So there is my overall train body height and length, and then I'm going to extrude it. Remember, it is 2 inches wide, so I'm going to extrude it 2 inches. Now I'm going to work on the front and then the back independently. It may be helpful to have the drawing open on your Chromebook so that way you can look at it. You're going to see this drawing is going to, I'm going to move it on and off of the screen so that way you can see what I'm working on with Inventor. So I'm going to start by getting this general rectangle and circle shape and then removing everything else. So I'm going to start a sketch on this surface. I'm going to, first thing I'm going to do anytime I'm working on a surface, I'm going to grab Project Geometry. Notice there are no yellow lines. I'm going to click on the surface I want to project, and that's going to add in those yellow lines. So I'm going to find my center point, my midpoint, and I'm going to come up that 1.375. I'm going to draw in that circle. And I need to create that kind of rectangle part that I was talking about before. Again, this is not a 100% step-by-step instruction. It's just to give you something to start with. So I'm going to extrude, cut that. I cannot do mental math in my head, so I do need to use a calculator to do some of these calculations. So there, I've extruded that, leaving only 1.75 back here. And that's what I was doing. I have my total length is 5.5, and then from here to the end is 1.75. So you need to calculate how far that extrusion is going to cut. So let's come to the back. I'm going to start my sketch, project my geometry, and this is that second, this was the main part, and then this is showing me that back. So I'm going to find my midpoint, come up 0.375, and this is where I'm going to draw in that circle with a diameter of 4.7 because it gives me a radius of 2.35. Now because I've projected that, I can then extrude these triangles. Oop, I didn't want all that. Let's remove that. I can extrude those, cut, and I'm going to go through all. So it's starting to look like my train body. So let's start on this side. I'm going to come in 0.25. Let me just make sure, I'm going to zoom in, make sure I got it right on the corner. I did, because I did not project my geometry. You can project your geometry. I'm going to come up my 1.75. Oops, see it snapped over there? That's okay, I'm just going to select that and delete it. Circle. And I'm just going to extrude cut that. So there is the general part of my train body. So there's a couple things that we still need to do. We're going to add in holes. So if you look here, let's see if I can zoom in a little bit. These three holes all have a diameter of 0.125 and a depth of 0.125, and there's three of them. That's what that times 3. 1, 2, 3. So I'm going to start, minimized it instead of pulling it off the screen. I'm going to start, I'm going to find the midpoint of my train. I'm going to come up at 0.625. And I just need that because I need to know where to put that hole. I'm going to use the hole feature. So I'm going to, and oftentimes it starts with this through all termination. I'm going to change it to a distance because that's going to allow me to select my depth, which is the horizontal line with the down arrow. That's going to be 0.125, and my diameter of 0.125. And I need to say where I want that to be. And I'm going to put it right at the end of that line. And it's going to put that hole there for me. Now, if I make a hole right there, this is not accurate, but I just want to show you, and it has a 1/2 inch depth and a 1/2 inch diameter, just so I can show you. When you're looking at these holes on the sides, and there's 2 on the left side and 2 on the right hand side, so I have my 1/4 inch diameter and my 0.875 depth. This 20 UNC refers to the threads, because those are going to thread in. So I'm going to grab thread, I'm going to select that, and then it's going to be, see, the size is dependent. So let's actually, let me show you. Let's edit that, and I'm going to make it a 0.25 because that's what that, not in diameter, or not in depth, 0.5, 0.25, because that's going to be, give us our 1/4 by 20. So if I select my surface, that's my 1/4 by 20 UNC. That's what this dimension is telling me, that that's a threaded hole with a depth, and there's 4 of them. So again, I didn't place mine in the right place, but you know how to do that, and now you know how to add those threads. Before I go too much further, I am going to save this. File, save, in my U drive. Again, if we don't save it in our U drive, we will not have access to it. Train. I'm going to block, So your block number, username, train, body. All of our files are saved in our U drive. They're going to be whatever block number you are, underscore your username, underscore your train body. And I'm going to save that because I just did a lot and I don't want to have to redo that. The only other difficult part of this main train body is going to be this hole in the top. So it has a 1/2 inch diameter and a 1/4 inch depth. So diameter, depth, and radius. Now, I can't start a sketch on a curved surface. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over in my model browser and I'm going to open up Origin. And I'm going to look at my planes. I'm going to focus specifically on my XZ plane. Depending on where you did your original sketch, your XZ plane may be in a different place than mine. So what we're going to do is we are going to select plane. We're going to offset our work plane from that a certain distance. So mine is at the bottom and I want it at the top of this. So I'm going to use 0.75 plus that distance, 1.375. Wherever yours is may be a different number, it may be a different plane, but the process is going to be the same. So I'm going to offset this 2.125. And notice now, I'm going to check it before I go, it is now tangent to. In one singular point, it's going to sit on top of that surface. And I'm going to click OK. What this is good for is I can then sketch on this work plane. So I can come in here. I can come, I'm going to project my geometry so that way I can snap to it. From the midpoint, but at the end of my train, I'm going to come back 0.875. And I can click Finish, and I'm going to use my hole. So I'm going to have a 1/2 inch diameter, 0.25 depth, I always mix those up, and a 1/2 inch diameter. And I'm going to put that at the end of that line. And it's going to put that hole right into that curved surface of our train body. Once I'm done with that work plane, I can right click on it and turn off the visibility. Now once you add in the rest of the holes and the 4 holes on the sides, you should have the main part of this train body complete. Every time I do anything I don't want to do again, I'm going to make sure to save that. Good luck. I think this should give you a good start on that train body.